All right. Hello, Zenith friends and family, and welcome to the official launch party for Zenith Issue 1, Coming of Age at the End of the World. My name is Evelyn, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a fiction editor for Zenith, but more importantly, I'm going to be your MC for tonight. We are all here to celebrate the launch of Zenith's very first issue, something that would not be possible without the hard work of our amazing team. Team, would you like to wave hi for me real quick? Thank you. If you look around the call, you'll notice that we've all put a Z at the beginning of our display names to help you keep track of us. So in just a little bit, we will be hearing a message from our lovely EICs, readings from some of our amazingly talented contributors, and of course, revealing the magazine for the first time. But before we get things rolling, I do need to go over the house rules. We have a lot of people here with us in this Zoom call, which we love to see. Thank you all for coming and supporting us tonight. I'm going to have to ask that you support us with yourself muted. So unless you are the person currently talking, your microphone should be off. If you have something nice to say, please put it in the chat. A bunch of our wonderful Zenith team members will be in there hyping up our presenters all night. So go join them in spreading the love. We do have auto-generated closed captions turned on for this Zoom call. You should be able to access them if you hit the button at the bottom of your screen. And as you should have seen when you joined the meeting, we are recording the launch party tonight. We've got several lovely contributors from South Africa who couldn't make it since it's currently like 3 a.m. for them. And we will be posting the recording later so they can watch it at a different time. So if everyone would take a moment to wave hi to our international friends. Hello, thank you for contributing. Thank you for watching. All right, now that everything is out of the way, let's get things started before the world actually does come to an end. I am going to pass things off to our first presenters of the night, our fearless leaders, co-EICs, Catalina and Mikey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Mikey. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the co-EICs.
And hi, thank you also for coming. I'm Catalina and I use she, her pronouns, and I am the other co-EIC.
And before we get too sentimental about everything, just because the two of us are just like so in love with the team and with everything that we've done, we're just going to let words that we've already written speak for us and go ahead and read our letter from the editor, which is featured in the very beginning of the first issue. Whew, okay, so I'm going to try to remain calm the entire time and not get emotional. But yeah, here we go. Okay. Dear reader, approximately 4 months ago, a class of 14 strangers put their trust in us to guide them toward a collective vision and create a literary magazine. As the chosen senior editors, our first responsibility was to each other. Through hours worth of texts, calls, emails, and meetings, we grew to love and appreciate each other endlessly and effortlessly as a Libra and Aries power duo. At this point, our bond is that of family, and it has translated to our whole team. We learned to support, appreciate, and respect each other through time, work, and Zoom calls. Our passions brought us together, transforming us into the Zenith family. We were all drawn to our concepts' intangible, undeniable allure. In our eyes, this issue of Zenith is the closure we needed after the year our world has had. We asked creators to share the most vulnerable moments of parts of themselves, and the submissions we received reflected the raw emotions we observed in ourselves.
Thank you to our resilient team members, Caitlin, Emily, Charlotte, Hayden, Maddie, Maya, Eden, Elise, Sarah, Evelyn, Della, Courtney, and Jillian. Each one of you deserves the best this world has to offer, and we are extremely grateful for your hard work and dedication. To our mentor, Jess, we thank you for your patience. Your calm aura helped shape us into well-rounded leaders. To our inspiring creators, without your voices, we would have absolutely nothing to offer, and we are eternally grateful to you for making Zenith a reality. To our readers, we see your grief, your joy, and your moments of power. Please allow this issue to be your safe space and catharsis.
To Kata, there is no way for me to properly express my gratitude. You challenge and inspire me more than anyone I have ever met. I admire your passion, strength, and determination. I am indebted to whatever power brought us together. Thank you for giving me and the rest of the team every reason to keep pushing. With all my love, Mikey.
To Mikey, I thank you for your endless support, appreciation, and friendship. We have held each other steady throughout this hectic process, and I am so very grateful to be able to count on you. Words could not do justice to how much you've brought to this magazine, Zenith, and I are lucky to have you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Con el cariño de siempre, Cata.
One of Zenith's aims is to highlight that power can and does stem from vulnerability. So we encourage you to view the following pieces through this lens. This issue's content is possibly triggering to some readers. Please keep yourself safe and look out for content warnings.
Our first issue came together in long nights, deep breaths, and what truly felt like the end of the world. Now, we present to you a magazine that encompasses the 2020 experience from the eyes of our contributors. This issue was born out of the rawest and most powerful moments from both our contributors and team, and we hope that is expressed on every page. It is our wish that you find these pieces to be echoes of your own experience, and know that whatever it is you felt this year, you were never alone. Please allow that to bring you solace.
Our very best.
And see you soon.
MNC, Mikey Wall, Senior Editor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we get too emotional, we just wanted to say thank you to everyone here, everyone who contributed, everyone who's been supporting us. We've grown a wonderful following in the short amount of time that we've been a magazine. So thank you, everyone. To the team, I love you all so much, and I hope that you know that because you are all so special. But unless Kata has something to say really quick, we can pass it back to Evelyn. But yeah, go ahead.
I just want to echo Mikey's words and say a big thank you to everyone that is sitting here right now. Even though we are all pretty far apart, it feels like we're very close in this moment, sharing this together, and I'm grateful to every single person that made it here tonight and came out and showed their support, and everyone that pitched in to create this really wonderful thing that we have going on right now. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, you two. That was wonderful. Like they said, we have been working to make this magazine a reality all semester long. So many hours of hard work and tears and jokes about bread have gone into helping us create this magazine, and we are so excited to share the final product with y'all. So let's do it. Let's pull up the magazine. The Zenith editorial team is proud to present our first issue, Zenith, Coming of Age at the End of the World.
All right, so my name is Caitlin. I'm one of the managing editors. I prefer she, her pronouns. And I'm gonna kind of take you through our thought process through creating this magazine, and as well as what we think this magazine represents. As you know, it's been highlighted before by our amazing EICs and Evelyn as well. That amazing cover is just phenomenal. Let's just take a second to appreciate that. That's incredible. Shout out to our design team and Hayden. Like, thank you so much. That looks just absolutely stunning. And so we had a lot of submissions from over 9 countries throughout the world, including the US, which was just insane, with I think over 325 total submissions. And so each of our contributors had brought something, like a very unique masterpiece to each one of us. So Emily and I, the other managing editor, hey Emily, we, in going into creating an order, it was very daunting because we had so many great pieces, but we didn't know how exactly to funnel them into this beautiful story. But it was funny enough, we started the process and we found that a lot of pieces just fell together in this puzzle piece like perfection. And we ended up dividing it into 3 different, primarily thematic groups. And from there, we collected pieces of art and some of the written pieces, and we complemented them, and I complemented each other, and we formed them into a beautiful story. So our first cluster of pieces are pieces with direct references to 2020 and COVID-19. Obviously, there's a lot going on, and as 2020 comes to an end, we're all thinking, you know, what's next? And so we thought that some of the pieces that directly reflected 2020 and COVID-19 are appropriate to be first. And then we go into one of our more core themes that really is our subtitle of the magazine, Coming of Age. And so these pieces fall into a general sort of coming of age category, where we've compiled pieces relating to general loss, joy, confusion, and ultimately one's zenith. Our last section focuses specifically on themes of identity, such as processing who you are and who you want to be in a world that's full of chaos, both good and bad, it seems. And all in all, it's been so wonderful to work with these pieces and highlight their zeniths and the wonderful work that our contributors have done and submitted to us. And so going, as you see, this magazine is so beautifully done visually as well with this aesthetic. So please, please, please give one massive round of applause to our design team. You guys did a phenomenal job. This is so beautiful and what we really needed in this first issue. So thank you. And they, so going forward with making this magazine, they utilize bright colored, if I could ever speak, maybe I could say what they use because it's so brilliant, I'm speechless. They use bright colors with a retro sort of tone to create this overwhelming feeling of nostalgia and comfort in a theme that's almost taken right out of a John Hughes film. They also included little pieces of art to develop this scrapbook sort of feeling. So it really hits into these themes of pain, happiness, highs and lows. And they just really did such a phenomenal job with this. And the contributors really, the design team set it up, but the contributors were just trying to shine your pieces into this beautiful light just to see, so the rest of the world to see all the amazing work that you've done. So we thank you so much for choosing us to submit to and working with us and publishing your pieces. We hope all of you enjoy and love this amazing work for the readers that the entire team has put together to channel your zenith into a larger piece of art. I don't know if Katz and Mikey want to add anything else to that, or if any one of our other team members have anything else to add, but thank you and we love you.
Yeah, I can jump in. We don't have to go through the whole thing because it is a big one. 75 pages worth of hard work. Literally, there was so much effort that went into every single one of these pages, and I am so grateful to those who spent so many days and nights working on this, because we started from literally nothing in August. We had nothing. We didn't have a team. We didn't have social media. We didn't have a website. We didn't have contributors. We didn't have any of it. And so it came from just like ideas that sort of like snowballed into more and more and more. And like every time something great happened, I was just absolutely mind blown because I didn't think that we could come across something so special, is the word I want to use. Everyone is so special. And the pieces that were submitted were so perfect. Like Kata can attribute to this, but when we were trying to like do our like final round of things, there were times where I was literally like, why am I crying right now? They are just that powerful. And so I hope people can like consider the order that was like so thoughtfully put together and consider every piece as a whole, because they're all so special. So all the contributors out there, you are incredible. I just want to say that. And I'm so glad that like, despite that everything that has happened this year, that you're here right now. That feels like some sort of victory in itself, just because from reading about what y'all wrote, y'all have been through it this year. So yes, thank you so much. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else has something they want to add before we can hop out. And
can I just say that this was most of the Zenith's team first time seeing that cover. So when you saw Evelyn gasp, that was a real raw reaction. She hadn't seen this before. And so like, you should have seen me minutes before the Zoom when I pulled this up and like saw it. I was like, oh my God, like I was speechless. Like that cover, freaking fantastic. And I will sing the graphic designs team's praises until the day I die, because they deserve literally everything this world has to offer them. They're so talented.
Yes, no, can we all take a moment to go drop some love for the design team in the chat? They are such troopers. I literally, not only did they make a majority of the graphics for our social media, they made the entire magazine. One time I was like, hey, I want to post something about Zenith on my personal Instagram. Can you make me a graphic? And they did. They're just that powerful, and we love them, and we love this magazine. So I'm so like, okay, I'm back on track now. Okay. We are going to pass things over to Kata really quickly because she is going to be giving us a tour of the Zenith website, the official home for all things Zenith on the internet.
Yes, okay, thank you, Evelyn. I'm gonna try and share my screen and hope that everything works well. Please let me know if that worked. Okay, cool, awesome. Welcome to Zenith's online presence. Other than social media, this is our website. This is, as Evelyn said, the home for all of the contributors' amazing pieces and all of like everyone's hard work on the internet. So welcome. Oh, that's not good. Sorry, it went away for a sec. So yeah, on the homepage, we have our 4 genres up here. They are accessible through multiple kind of clicking things throughout the homepage. So you can click on them up here or up here. If you scroll down, there's more, but first thing you see is this beautiful, beautiful cover. I have no words for how impressed and amazed and just like in awe that I am. This is just the perfect cover for our first issue. It's beautiful. So thank you. And thank you to Design for all of their hard work. I didn't say anything before with the print version, but I wanted to take a minute to say thank you right now. But yeah, we have some information here about who is featured and then our Zoom link in case anyone accessed it through here. And then we have our Spotify player with Evelyn's playlist here. So if you want to give that a listen, every song was picked to give coming of age nostalgia vibes, basically. So those are really good. And then we've got our genre spotlights. We picked a couple pieces, or I mean, one piece per genre, and we highlighted that. We really just wanted to shout these out because we thought like, wow, these really stirred something deep within us, which they all did, but you should give these a read. But yeah, we have previews. You can click on them and it'll take you to the page where you can read all of these. But yeah, and then we have our online art gallery here. I will be clicking on all of this and showing you that, but I just wanted to make it through the homepage. And then we've got our Instagram feed displayed at the bottom. So if you click on this, it will take you to our actual feed. So we can start with fiction. Basically, we just wanted to make it as like easy to navigate as possible. So everything is hyperlinks for your use and to not have a hard time navigating our website. But yeah, we have all of our fiction here and you can click on any piece, for example, and like it'll open it and you can read it here. And then we've got our author bio, or in the case of art, it would be a creator bio. So you can find out more about the lovely people that wrote these. And then you can go into nonfiction, same thing. And thank you to my awesome web design team for helping out. You all did an amazing job and I couldn't have done this without you guys. But yeah, we have all of our poetry here as well. Please, please, please give these all a read. These are all super amazing pieces. I cannot believe how lucky we were to have everything just fit together so well. I'm seriously, like I seriously have no words to express how awesome everything just is once you see the entire view. So if you get the chance to look at our magazine, please do. But yeah, and then you've got art here displayed in this gallery. And then of course you can click on any given piece and it will take you to the piece, but bigger, and the artist bio if they provided one. And then some of them also have information in a box here that will tell you the dimensions, the materials, stuff like that. So there's that. And then we also have our resources page, which I thought was very important. Thank you, Caitlin. You did the most with this, and you guys will see what I'm talking about in just a minute. This list is never ending, which is the most amazing thing to me. Like, she really went above and beyond. So you have resources for a lot of places, just about anywhere our creators could be from. And this list will obviously expand as we go along, but just so you can see how much we're starting with. So yeah, if you feel like you need to reach out or something after reading our issue, because it does have some triggering content at times, and we did provide content warnings, but still things happen. Please do not hesitate to use these resources or reach out to somebody on our team. We are all very approachable people, and we want to make sure that everyone is staying safe. So yeah, that being said, we also have a tab up here for our first issue where you can flip through and just look at it. And it also goes full screen. I hope that worked. But yeah, you can also flip through it digitally there. And that essentially is our website. It's very full of a lot of cool design stuff. It's got all of our texts, and we put a lot of time and effort into this, and we hope that you are able to get the most out of it as we intended it to be. So yeah, unless somebody from design has something they would like to add, feel free to jump in if you would like. Or if not, I can just hand the floor back to Evelyn. Thank you. And I will stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you so much. I am so impressed by what the design team and the website design team have managed to accomplish. It looks amazing, and I can't wait for people to read the magazine. Right now, the magazine does only exist online, but we are working to make print copies available. The best way to keep tabs on all things Zenith, including print copy availability, is to follow us on social media. We have Instagram, we have Twitter. You just saw our website. We will keep you updated. So now that we've taken a glimpse at the magazine, why don't we hear about some of the pieces that are in it? We have some very brave contributors who have volunteered to share their writing and art with us tonight. If that is you and you know you volunteered, go ahead and check. Someone should have messaged you to make sure that you're still up for it. If you did not volunteer beforehand, but you're feeling the spirit and you'd like to, just go ahead and say so in the chat, and someone will get your name on the list and give it to me. So first up, we have an excerpt from Everyone is Bad in the Corona Scene by Murray Hines. Murray is a student at the University of Cape Town in South Africa. He aspires to become a writer/educator and to one day see Amy Adams get that Oscar we all know that she deserves. Murray was unable to join us tonight, but still requested that his piece be shared, so our assistant editor Eden will be reading in his stead.
All right, very excited to read this piece. I am only going to be able to read an excerpt just because of time. I would love to be able to read the whole thing for you guys, but we're going to read a few pages. So this is Everyone is Bad in the Corona Scene, Reflections from a Lockdown Cape Town by Murray Hines. I wake up at 8:55 a.m. every day, but go back to sleep until 9:21. I know with a bizarre certainty that I will wake up at 8:55 every day. Time moves differently, has an elasticity that means that when I wake up on day 125 of lockdown, it feels like the beginning to a journal entry I wrote 3 months ago. It feels that way because it is. I'm allowed to lie in bed for 7 minutes, contemplating the nothingness before I must get up and face last night's dishes. Every morning. Every morning, there's Vitatheon, a sachet of immune-boosting vitamins. I can't decide if I think it's working yet or not. But it's not working because I haven't got the virus yet, so I drink it. I mix it in with a glass of water and stare at the swirling pink concoction. I wonder if that is the most beautiful thing I will see today. I have this exact same thought every day at 9:45. I wonder if I should clean my windows, and then I wonder how I would go about doing that, I wonder if it makes a difference because no one will see them anyways. And I wonder if only caring about having dirty windows when others will see them makes me a disgusting person. I don't think I care. I switch on my phone and the day begins. It is all consuming, this new version of being online in the pandemic, if it's possible to get more all consuming than it was before. Confined to our dirty homes, we have taken the virtual space, shouting and performing, desperate for some kind of perverse recognition. I am confronted by an Instagram graphic that screams, "Muslims are being skinned alive," followed by a masterclass advert of Thomas Keller skinning salmon. It is an onslaught, this new social media, and the algorithm works tirelessly to create a carnival of horrors through which I swipe listlessly. I wonder, for a few agonizing days, if there's violence in the swipe, in the turning away, the refusal to bear witness. There's only so much we can bear, I reassure myself. I feel better. I consume with a pathological determination that borders on unhinged. I read white fragility and hate it, but not because of my own white fragility, I don't think. I hope. I watch movies every day, and it is only after 6 months that I realize this is what escapism looks like. But it doesn't matter. I started the lockdown with Mona Lisa's Smile and have worked my way through 126 films to The Young Girls of Rochefort. I proudly tell my sister I'm watching French films. She tells me to stop being a snob. I read about how biracial rapper Doja Cat is exposed for having shown her feet to an online community of white supremacists, and people on Twitter are saying that if she had a black mother and a white father, instead of a white mother and a black father, this would have never happened. I do not know why or even what that means, only that it seems important. A lot seems important. A friend keeps telling me, I don't think we will realize how important this all is until it's been over for a very long time. We're too close still. We're in it. That sounds profound, so I nod, but secretly I think she's just saying that to avoid looking directly at anything now in this moment. I especially don't know what it has to do with Doja Cat. The word webinar begins to trigger a mild headache beyond my left eyebrow. It is everywhere, promising wellness, reflection, skills, connection. Webinar is a stupid term, and I hate it. Some words do not need the modernity treatment. I've not been able to journal directly about anything for 6 months. I have nothing to say. I'm briefly jealous of Anne Frank, but then overcome with guilt because she was confined to an attic and then died. While the biggest hurdle I must overcome is sweeping my fabulous observatory apartment. Then, buoyed by self-importance, I remind myself it's okay to be resentful of Anne Frank. Whatever gets us through the pandemic.
Thank you, Eden, and thank you, Marie. So next up, we have Meg Michelke. I should have asked how to pronounce people's names. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce yours. Meg is a second-year student at the University of Iowa studying creative writing and theater. She is very involved in the campus literary scene, having previously had her work published in magazines like New Moon, Quarantine, and Foolish. She will be reading her poem, Mary Stardust, Her Voice Breaks at 3:01 for us tonight.
Hello. So yeah, I'm gonna read this. If you haven't listened to any Rolling Stones, you should. I'm sure you have, but you should. So Mary Stardust, Her Voice Breaks at 3:01. I spend a lot of time in my room. I lay on the floor and listen to the Rolling Stones and watch the sun rise and set and rise and set and rise, and the sun is also a star. Stars are made of gas and dust. They get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they explode. The most massive stars go through their lives very quickly and end by exploding. That's a quote from my astronomy book, Astronomy by Andrew Franknoy, copyright Rice University, 2018. Sometimes I think I'd like to be a star. Sometimes I think I'd like to paint it black. A black hole is the opposite of a star. Black holes suck in everything around them and don't let go. I am not a black hole. Therefore, I am a star? I am listening to the Rolling Stones. I am studying for my astronomy quiz. I am exploding. In outer space, the only light comes from stellar bodies, stars. That is not a quote from my astronomy book. That is a quote from me. I will write my own astronomy book, Astronomy by Me, copyright today. Here is what it will say. Did you know that on Mars sunsets are blue? Did you know that before the Big Bang there had to have been a point of existence that took up absolutely zero space and yet contained all of the mass in the universe? Did you know that the Rolling Stones called Mary Clayton in the middle of the night to record the backing vocals for Gimme Shelter? Did you know that we're all made of dust? Are these things true? Did you know that Mary Clayton had a miscarriage when she got home? Yes. Chapter review. If star A has a temperature of 4,000 degrees and star B has a temperature of 8,000 degrees, how many times brighter is star B according to the Stefan-Boltzmann equation? 2. Do you think stars get lonely? 3. Do you think Mary Clayton gets lonely? I like Gimme Shelter. It's a good song. It's very emotive. Mary Clayton has the best part. I'm glad Mary Clayton sang that song. Maybe if she hadn't, she wouldn't have had a miscarriage. Therefore, I'm glad Mary Clayton had a miscarriage. I'm glad she sang the song. 4. Does that make me a bad person? I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be a star either. Stars are always exploding. I want to be a rolling stone. Stones don't explode. Stones are cool. Stones are solid. Stones don't get lonely. Stones don't get anything. Stones don't have feelings. Answer key? 16, probably, maybe. If Mary Clayton equals star, then who are you? My doctor says I can't be a stone. My doctor says get off the floor. But I can't. I am listening to the Rolling Stones. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Meg. As several of our Zenith team members have said in the chat, we all love this piece so much, and we are so excited you agreed to read it for us. Next up, we have Sydney Vogel. Sydney is based out of San Francisco, where she works as a poetry editor for the San Franciscan Magazine and as an educator for Bay Area youth. This year, she was chosen as the Poetry Fellow for the Martha Spaniard Institute for Creative Writing. She'll be reading her poem, On a Thursday, My Therapist Asks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. And congratulations to the Zenith team. Everything is so beautiful and I'm so blown away by it. So I'm really excited to be here. This poem is called On a Thursday, My Therapist Asks, and it's after Jose Olivares from his collection Citizen Illegal, which I highly recommend. What are you afraid of? One day, someone will be stuck in traffic, arguing on the phone with their lover, and the sun will incinerate their earth. The sun wouldn't even ask. The sun is a Gemini like that. What are you afraid of? My mom calls, then forgets what she called for. I try not to build a story that ends in me being alone. What are you afraid of? That I will spend the next 45 years digging into the same soil, looking for a new set of bones to imprint my hips with. It always ends with the lover leaving. What are you afraid of? Growing up, my grandpa had an orange tree. I searched for the most rotten ones to throw at my sister. What are you afraid of? There's a head of garlic in the cabinet above my ex-girlfriend's sink. I know this as a universal truth. It's been a year when I hear she gave up that apartment by the water. What are you afraid of? The Australian asks where I'm from, and I finger the thread of the hostel sheet. I think of San Francisco first, then an O2 minivan parked on a dirt hill, beer bottles in the trunk overlooking the city. I'm not sure which answer makes me more of a liar. What are you afraid of? Ultraviolet fingerprints on my arm, men with fingers. What are you afraid of? That my window screen will give way too easily when met with a knife. I fall asleep with it open anyway. Mostly, I don't have the energy to fix fear. What are you afraid of? Am I talking about what I should be talking about? What are you afraid of? My wanting, a lemon-tiled kitchen, soft hands, my body becoming more and more forgetful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sydney. Next up, we have Linda McMullen, a wife, mother, diplomat, and homesick Wisconsinite who has had work published in over 70 literary magazines. Tonight, she will be reading from her fiction piece, Lemon Drop Martini.
Good evening, everyone, and I just want to say thank you to all of the Zenith team. The magazine is exquisite, and I am just so grateful to have been able to contribute a little to this. Congratulations, it's wonderful. Lemon drop martini. Whenever the flu or a head cold or a sheer angst waylaid me, my dad, my real dad, let me stay home from school and watch The Wizard of Oz. Sometimes he'd call in sick too, and he'd persuade Mom to follow suit. We'd huddle together under a stained duvet, white and azure splashed, after my 5-year-old room painting jamboree. He'd point out the gorgeous liberties the set designers had taken with the flowers. Occasionally, we'd press play twice. My friend Kate once bought me a making of volume. I read 2 chapters. She dropped $25.99, then committed it to the library's donation bin. It only undercut my happy ignorance of the exploding broom, unconscionable makeup injuries, and Toto's out-earning the actors. If I could simply exist over the rainbow, where trouble melts, amid technicolor brilliance, glorious flore, the overwhelming conviction that goodness would triumph, without tests, passive-aggressive classmates, reliving Dad's last lily-scented, screeching monitor moments a year ago. Then, earlier this morning, Susan, Jonathan, perforating my mother's name. Mandy's ill? My mother faltered, only then remembering to retrieve the plausible thermometer from her apron pocket. I see. Jonathan's Disney hero jaw worked, clicking away billable minutes. Mandy, maybe you'd better, go? Jonathan had selected my mother over the 50-odd glamorous divorcees he had successfully represented, possibly because her overtures to, her responses to his overtures began with, "Oh dear, I couldn't," and ended with, "You're probably right." And avoid additional C's in trigonometry, Jonathan added, with daisy doodles in their margins. Probably inevitable. Thereafter, Jonathan's legal, almost clerical strictures on diligence and punctual reminders to my mother that her indulgence would only solidify my apathetic trajectory. Now I'm loitering on the cracked pavement before Hoover High's drab facade, waiting for Jonathan's car to turn the corner. Gone. Finally. I cut first period and purchased affordable carnations before slouching toward the cemetery. College. A 2 hours distant branch campus of Midwestern State University sufficed. I went to class sometimes, pajamaed often, and haunted the ribbon paths of the campus gardens. I called Mom weekly, reporting on none of this. She texted me pictures. Jonathan called her a prime of life icon after selecting a bleached silver pigment for her hair, taking up Zumba, losing 20 pounds. After I stumbled into a dozen seminars, the botany professor lovingly press-ganged me into his classes, a significant improvement on trigonometry, horticulture, landscape design, ecology, branching out. Dr. Gentges recommended me for a public gardens internship 3 states away. I raised it during a visit home. Jonathan folded his arms. We're not wasting thousands on it's paid, it's far. I'm 21. Even if they did take you, they have, I said, extending my glowing phone face toward him. Mom sputtered, honey, maybe it's, I'm going out drinking to celebrate, I said. I brought Dad wildflowers first. The bartender approached. What can I offer you? Journeys beyond the rainbow? Restrained glee couldn't melt away my troubles, as Miss Garland once sang, but a lemon drop martini, please?
Thank you. And I have a soft spot for that piece. It's one of the ones I helped pick out.
Well, thank you.
So next up, we have Amanda Pendley. Amanda is a creative writing and publishing student at the University of Iowa and the EIC of Zenith's sister magazine, Patchwork. Although her passion for Harry Styles leads me to believe she would have fit in really well on our team too. Amanda will be reading her poem, Re-Begin, for us tonight.
Hi, Caitlin and I actually often talk about hairstyles, so I agree with that. Before I start, I want to say congrats to you all. A special congrats to Mikey. You're one of my best friends, and I know how hard you have worked on this. I'm so proud of you, and I love you to death. So I wanted to, I know we all had our fangirl over Mikey earlier in the chat, but I'm so proud of everything you've done. It shows immensely. But yeah, this is my piece called Re-Begin. Wind-up toys mimic ballroom dancers, swaying into the arms of lovers that they will later take for granted, leave shoes behind and run barefoot on blackened callus, flipping through street names like storybook pages, going back because you forgot what you just read, and can't seem to retain, hold captive, let me pay ransom to clutch on to the good parts of us. I am flailing into the arms of strangers, hoping they will have the decency to care for a girl who's forgotten her own name, but remembers how to waltz, how to rewind and reach inside her own ear and hear the churn of the VHS tape, to always depend on the sound of things to determine if they are good enough, to hate the sound of her own voice, to not recognize it on interview audio transcriptions, to hear instead the scraping of blades on the ice, to remember how Jay taught her how to skate, to remember her mother crying when she found out he used to drive his daughter and I to Pepsi Ice while drunk, and blaming herself because no one ever taught us what the word drunk meant before it was too late. We just thought he was happy, and that when he reversed, or that when he revved the engine a little too hard, it was just because he liked the sound it made, that he liked playing truth or dare with the red lights, that he would do U-turns where U-turns weren't meant to be done, to teach us what it meant to retreat, to circle back, to foreshadow, to forget where you emerged, and to get so lost in yourself that you forget there are two girls in the back seat, that when you shut a car door, it should serve as an announcement that you are here. Slam it as exclamation. Let him tie your skate so tight that your toes lose feeling. Let him drag you both, a girl clinging to each arm as he would attempt to sprint, take to the ice so fast that you forget that life doesn't exist and fast forward. He would hurl himself forward, pulling the two of us like clumsy suitcases and propel this man-made unit into the blank space. Let us go and watch as we went by, flying, sailing, shrieking as we learned the hard way how to turn so we wouldn't end up crashing. How we would ask to do it again, to restart, to unravel, to wind up, to get caught in the re-beginning so that the release would come again and again where we felt relieved from the weight of our coats and the stones hidden in their pockets, until we were left in tank tops, freezing and freeing ourselves, becoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Mikey said it in the chat, but listening to you read every time, goosebumps. It's amazing. So last but certainly not least, we have Hannah Rose Showalter, a fourth-year student at the University of Iowa and aspiring librarian. Apparently, she's got range because when she's not writing sad pieces like the poem she'll be reading for us tonight, Grief in 8 Acts, she enjoys writing silly children's stories for her friends.
Am I mute? Okay, cool. I told my best friend that if he died, I'd call his phone and sit quiet for seconds in the waiting room of the phone lines that will take me nowhere, just so I could hear his voice on the other line. My great-grandma leaves behind recorded radio hours, and I seek them out to make up for the 6-year radio silence. Sometimes if I close my eyes, the skip of the Elton John record sounds like your laughter, like you listened to it so much the grooves in the vinyl became valleys for your voice. 2. I think about my own death as much as I think about sports or cleaning the inside of my oven, which is another way to say not at all. I think about everyone else's death as much as I think about the right corner of his mouth and the bridges of Taylor Swift songs, which is to say all the time. It is the most selfish thing about me that I want to die before everyone I love, so I never have to get on a first name basis with the absence, which is another way to say my body has never been furnished with a good bone. 3, losing someone is always poor timing. Losing someone in a year baptized by the fountain of loss and grief means I've probably said something deeply offensive about the universe's mother, and this right here is the payback. 4, the armchair doesn't look the same after you die. I've only come home a few times since the last chapter of April, but I feel the emptiness of the chair all the same, like I live inside it, like its leather longing tattooed itself underneath my eyelids. 5, the woman in the second pew of my church lost her son, and I noticed how her hair went from red to white lightning quick. I noticed how her face aged another 50 years every Sunday. I think about how my grandma gets smaller every day since you died. I think about how grief is a world-renowned sculptor. 6, the tattoo of a ship on your right arm is my name twin, and Mom says you told her to make sure I knew its name was the same as mine when she saw you for the last time. It is one thing to know you have been loved so deeply, and it is another thing entirely to be made so deeply aware of it. 7, when the headlines of this year do not cut deep enough, when the statistics don't seem real, I press play on a supercut of my own grief to breathe life into the numbers. I take to 948,000 and paint them as 948,000 empty chairs, 948,000 armchairs turned into fossils, 948,000 living rooms that have become still life paintings, paintings that a family flickers and floats through, nothing but brushstrokes. Somehow there is still life. 8, a few days after you die, my professor launches into a lecture about palliative care and death, and specifically how the death of a grandparent affects a family. And all I do is laugh because you would, and because everything about this year has felt like a punchline. But here is the answer to how the death of a grandparent affects a family. The armchair is always empty, even especially when someone is sitting in it. Ooh.
Thank you, Hannah, and thank you to all of the contributors who read. We are almost done here tonight, but before we say goodbye, I just wanted to extend even more thank yous on behalf of the entire team. So thank you to all of our wonderful contributors. We quite literally couldn't have done this without you. We are so honored that you trusted us with your art and all the truths and emotions wrapped up in it, and we hope that we did it justice. Thank you to all of our friends and family who've been supporting us along the way, to everyone who liked our Instagram posts and retweeted tweets and helped spread the word about Zenith. Because of you, we had the courage to make this issue a reality and the confidence to keep moving forward. Thank you so much to instructor Jess for being such a wonderful support system and invaluable source of knowledge, and for encouraging us to shoot for the stars. And of course, thank you to the Zenith team. It was a long, winding road to get here, but there's nobody else I would rather have traveled with. We did it, y'all. All right, that officially concludes the main part of the launch party. Thank you all for coming tonight. It means so much to all of us that you're here supporting Zenith, and we can't wait to see you and work with you to create even more amazing things in the future for as long as that lasts. In just a minute, we'll be opening the floor up to questions and discussion, but if you need to leave, please feel free to do so. Remember, you can follow us on social media to keep yourself up to date on all things Zenith, including when physical copies of the magazine become available. We will hopefully see you all again real soon, but for now, good night.